Meet Alex. From the outside, you'd think Alex is absolutely crushing it. He's got a great job with solid income. All his bills are paid on time, and he just pulled up to his friend's house in his absolute dream car, a gleaming new SUV. The leather still has that intoxicating new car smell. His friends are impressed, his social media is buzzing, and he feels a rush of pride. He's doing everything he's supposed to do to signal success, right? But here's the problem, the one that's churning in his gut when he's alone at night. What Alex doesn't realize is that his smart and normal money choices are actually a one-way ticket to staying broke forever. The life he's built looks incredible, but it's a house of cards, one unexpected bill away from collapsing. In the next hour, we're going to pull back the curtain on the 7 money habits that feel completely normal, that we see all around us, but are secretly engineered to keep you poor in 2026. And more importantly, we'll show you exactly how to break free from each and every one of them. The truth is, so many of us are Alex. We work hard. Maybe we got a degree, we climb the ladder at our jobs, and we earn a decent, respectable paycheck. We try to make what we believe are responsible choices. We get the new car because it's reliable and we deserve it. We rent the nice apartment in the cool part of town. We build a life that looks incredible on Instagram. But beneath the surface, under the shiny new things and the weekend brunches, something feels off. It's a quiet financial decay, a slow, creeping anxiety that we're not actually getting anywhere. You feel like you're sprinting full speed on a financial treadmill. The income is coming in, your legs are burning, but you look around and realize you haven't moved an inch forward. This isn't just Alex's story. It's the story of millions who are caught in devastating wealth traps cleverly disguised as everyday life. These are mistakes you make because you're bad with money. They're traps you fall into because they're the socially accepted script for a good life. Today, we're going to tear that script to pieces. Let's identify the traps and dismantle them one by one. Habit 1. Financing a new car, the car payment trap. Let's go back to Alex and his brand new SUV. He just landed a big promotion, a nice title bump, and a significant raise. For months, he'd been telling himself, when I get this promotion, I'm finally getting a car that reflects my hard work. It's an intoxicating thought, the idea that your external world should match your internal feeling of success. So he walked into the dealership not as a buyer, but as someone ready to claim a prize he felt he'd already won. The showroom was a cathedral of steel and glass, and the salesman, a master of ceremonies, guided him to the perfect vehicle. It wasn't just a car, it was a statement. The salesman didn't sell him a machine. He sold him an identity. He made the financing feel like a formality, a simple key to unlocking this new, upgraded version of Alex. The result? He's now the proud owner of a $748 monthly payment, right in line with the national average. In his meticulously planned budget, it seems manageable. He's factored it in, moved some numbers around, and convinced himself it's a small price to pay for that new car smell, the cutting-edge tech, the absolute peace of mind of a full coverage warranty, and, let's be brutally honest, the undeniable status it confers. Driving that car, pulling into his office parking spot, seeing the reflection in a storefront window, it makes him feel successful. And that is the cold, hard steel of trap number 1. It's a purely emotional decision, a deep-seated psychological need for validation, disguised as a logical and responsible one. Alex tells himself he needs reliability, but what he's really buying is significance. What Alex can't see, what the dealership's fluorescent lights are designed to blind him from, are the phantom costs they're already eating his financial future alive. That shiny new car, the one he financed for around $42,000, lost a massive, sickening chunk of its value the second his new tires hit the public road. A brand new car can lose 20 to 30% of its value in the first year alone. By the end of year 2, it can be down 30% or more. In 5 years, it's not uncommon for it to have lost a staggering 60% of its original price. So his $42,000 SUV, a symbol of his achievement, could be worth only about $16,800 in 5 years. Yet for every one of those 60 months, he's still making a payment calculated on its brand new price tag. He's trapped, paying a premium for an illusion that has already evaporated. He's not just paying for a car. He's paying a premium plus interest on an asset that is depreciating faster than almost anything else he could possibly own. He has willingly signed up for a guaranteed, wealth-destroying tax with the privilege of smelling new plastic and showing off a touchscreen display, with average new car loan rates hovering around 7% and much higher for those with less than perfect credit. That single habit consumes a huge portion of his income that should be going toward assets that appreciate. Assets that build wealth while he sleeps, like stocks, real estate, or a business. Instead, he's pouring his money into a depreciating metal box. He is actively choosing to become poorer, month after month, just to maintain a feeling. The fix is to start walking everywhere, or to drive a 25-year-old beater that might leave him stranded. That's a false choice that keeps people stuck in the trap. The solution is to stop playing the game by the dealership's rules, which are rigged for their profit, not your prosperity. The truly wealthy understand that a car is a tool, a utility to get from point A to point B safely and reliably. It is not a trophy to signal their worth to strangers at a stoplight. The truly smart move? Buy a reliable 2 to 3 year old used car. Why? Because the first owner has already taken the single most brutal financial hit for you. They absorb the initial 20 to 30% cliff dive of depreciation. You get to swoop in and buy a nearly new vehicle that has already proven its reliability, often with a portion of its warranty remaining, for a fraction of the original cost. You skip the steepest, most financially devastating part of the vehicle's life cycle. Here's the action plan, the exact strategy to break this cycle forever. First, you must shift your mindset from what can I borrow to what can I afford. Stop letting a bank loan officer tell you what car you can have. You tell your money what to do. Start a dedicated high-yield savings account and label it car fund. Then decide on a realistic amount you can automatically transfer into that fund every single paycheck. Make it a non-negotiable expense. This might take several months or even a year or two. This period of saving isn't a punishment. It's a period of discipline and empowerment. When you have the cash, you have the power. You can negotiate from a position of strength. You pay no interest, and you own the asset from day one. Then, take that $748 car payment you just saved yourself and set up an automatic investment. Every single month, without fail, put it into a low-cost, broad market index fund. That one action, repeated relentlessly month after month, turning a liability payment into an asset purchase, is how you build real, tangible wealth, not the fleeting illusion of it. Habit 2, stretching your mortgage to the max, the endless interest trap. With his car situation supposedly sorted, Alex is ready to check off the next big box on the adulting checklist, buying a home. But the market in 2026 is brutal. Prices are high, and interest rates, while lower than their peaks, still feel intimidating. Alex finds a house he loves, but the monthly payment on a standard 30-year mortgage is just a little more than he's comfortable with. It would make his budget incredibly tight. Sensing his hesitation, his lender presents what seems like a magical solution: a 40-year mortgage. The monthly payment is a few $100s lower than the 30-year option, which makes the expensive house suddenly feel affordable. This is the moment the trap springs shut. He can now justify the purchase. He can get the bigger house, the better neighborhood, the shorter commute, all for a payment that fits his spreadsheet. This is a second trap, and it's a monster. It's a siren song of short-term relief that leads to a lifetime of financial shipwreck. Lenders and mortgage brokers market these extended-term products as tools for affordability, as a way to help people get into the home of their dreams. But let's be crystal clear. They are instruments of long-term debt servitude. A 40-year mortgage is not a standard government-backed qualified mortgage for a reason. It exists primarily to maximize the amount of interest a bank can extract from you over your lifetime. It is a financial anesthetic that numbs you to the pain of buying more house than you can truly afford, ensuring you remain a profitable customer for bank for an entire generation longer than necessary. Let's do the math, and the numbers are not just bad, they are devastating. Imagine Alex is looking at a $400,000 loan on a 30-year fixed mortgage with an interest rate around 6%, which is in line with rates for early 2026. His principal and interest payment would be about $2,398. Over the full 30 years, he would pay approximately $463,000 in total interest. That's already a staggering number. He's paying for the house more than twice over. Now, let's stretch that to a 40-year mortgage. To entice him, the bank might offer a slightly higher interest rate, say 6.5%, because the loan is riskier and non-standard. The monthly payment drops to about $2,326. That is savings of only $72 a month. It feels like a win. It feels like breathing room. But this is the most expensive breathing room he will ever buy, because over a new 40-year term, the total interest paid explodes to over $716,000. By choosing the 40-year option to save a mere $72 a month, Alex has just signed up to pay an extra $253,000 in interest. Let that sink in. He flushed $250,000, more than 60% of the original price of the home, directly down the toilet, all for a trivial amount of short-term relief. Worse, because the payments are so heavily front-loaded with interest, he will build equity at a glacial pace. After a decade of making payments, he will have barely made a dent in his principal balance. He'll be a renter who just happens to be responsible for the plumbing. It's a life sentence of debt. The lower payment tricks you into a bigger house, which strangles your ability to invest, save for retirement, or handle a single major emergency. The goal should never be to get the lowest possible payment on the biggest possible house. That is a path to staying broke. The real pro move, the wealth-building move, is to do the exact opposite. Shorten your loan term and get the bank out of your life as quickly as possible. If you can possibly afford it, aim for a 15-year mortgage. As of early 2026, rates for 15-year loans are notably lower than for 30-year loans, often around 5.5%. Yes, your monthly payment will be higher. There's no sugarcoating that. On that same $400,000 loan, a 15-year mortgage at 5.5% would have a payment of about $3,265. That's significantly more than the 30-year option, but the magic is in the total cost. You will own your home free and clear in half the time, and the total interest you pay would only be about $187,000. That is savings of nearly $276,000 compared to the 30-year loan, and an almost unbelievable $529,000 compared to the 40-year trap. Saving over $500,000. That is a life-changing amount of money. The goal isn't just to have a house. It's to own it, so your largest expense disappears and your money finally starts working for you, not the bank. Habit 3. Celebrating your tax refund. The government's 0% loan. It's April, and tax season is in full swing. Alex, like millions of others, logs into his tax software, meticulously enters his W-2s and any deductions he can find, and clicks the final button. He holds his breath for a moment, and then sees a glorious number flash on the screen. A $3,000 refund is heading his way. Immediately, a wave of relief and excitement washes over him. His mind starts racing, picturing all the possibilities. He sees it as a bonus, a windfall, a gift from the government for being a good, hard-working citizen. He's already mentally spending it. That new 8K gaming console, even eyeing a spontaneous weekend trip to the coast he's been putting off. Maybe that designer jacket he saw in a downtown boutique. This feeling, this belief that a tax refund has found money, is a third trap, and is one of the most pervasive and misunderstood concepts in all of personal finance. Treating your tax refund like you won the lottery. Let's be absolutely clear. A tax refund is not a gift. It is not a bonus. It is not free money. A tax refund is simply the government returning the interest-free loan you have been systematically forced to give them all year long. It is your own hard-earned money, skimmed from every single paycheck, that you overpaid. For 12 long months, a portion of your income that legally belonged to you was sitting in the government's coffers, earning you absolutely nothing. In fact, it was doing worse than nothing. While you were patiently waiting to get your own money back, it was steadily and silently losing its purchasing power to inflation, with inflation in 2026 projected to be around 2.4%. That $3,000 you get back in April is actually worth less than it was when you earned it throughout the previous year. So not only did you fail to earn any interest or investment returns on your own money, but the government is returning it to you with a chunk of its value eroded away. It's like lending a friend $100 and having them pay you back a year later with $97. It's a guaranteed losing proposition. The wealthy understand this implicitly. They don't celebrate large refunds. They view them as a sign of poor cash flow management. They would never willingly give an interest-free loan to anyone, let alone the government. Their goal is the exact opposite: to owe a very small, manageable amount of tax time, or ideally, to get their refund as close to zero as possible. Why? Because they want every single dollar they earn working for them the second they earn it. That money isn't sitting idle in a government account. It's being deployed into their investments, paying down their debts, and compounding month after month. A $3,000 refund is equivalent to $250 a month that was missing from your paychecks. That's $250 you could have used to crush your credit card debt, to automatically invest in your retirement account, or simply to ease the financial pressure in your day-to-day life. The solution is to stop this cycle and perform a simple paycheck checkup. It sounds intimidating, but it's incredibly straightforward. Your goal is to get your money as you earn it. Go to the IRS's official website and search for their tax withholding estimator. This is a free, user-friendly tool that will confidentially walk you through the process. You'll need your most recent pay stub and a copy of last year's tax return. The tool will ask you a series of questions about your income, your filing status, and any credits or deductions you expect to take. At the end, it will tell you exactly how to adjust your Form W for the document you filled out when you started your job that tells your employer how much tax to withhold. It might tell you to claim more allowances or adjust the dollar amount of your withholdings. You then simply give the updated W-4 to your HR or payroll department. When you do this correctly, you will see an immediate, tangible raise in every single paycheck going forward. If your typical refund was $3,000, that's an extra $250 flowing into your bank account every month. Now, the critical part is to not let this extra cash become part of your lifestyle inflation. The moment you make this change, you must give that new money a job. Set up an automatic transfer for that $250. Have it go directly from your checking account into a high-interest debt payment, a Roth IRA, or a brokerage account. Make it invisible. This way, you're not just stopping the interest-free loan. You're flipping the script entirely. You're putting your money to work for you immediately, earning you interest and returns for a change, instead of letting it slowly decay in someone else's bank account. Mid-video CTA. We're only 3 habits in, and you might already be seeing how these normal behaviors are designed to keep you spinning your wheels. If any of these are hitting a little too close to home, and you're feeling ready to stop managing poverty and start building real, lasting wealth, do me a favor and subscribe and ring that notification bell. We're only halfway through, and the next few habits are even more subtle and can silently sabotage your entire financial future. Habit 4. Making only minimum payments on debt, the interest death spiral. Alex glances at his monthly credit card statement, his stomach tightening just a little. The total balance is around $6,500, a figure that feels uncomfortably large but is right around a national average for an individual in the U.S. It's a ghost of purchases past, a vacation from last summer, a few expensive dinners, that laptop upgrade he needed for work. As his eyes scan the page, they land on the one number designed to bring a false sense of calm. Minimum payment due, $130. A wave of relief washes over him. Okay, I can handle that, he thinks. It's tight, but it's manageable. He's been diligently, even proudly, paying that minimum amount on time every single month. He's never missed a payment. But he's noticed with a growing sense of dread that the total balance, that big scary $6,500 number, never seems to go down. In fact, after a month where he had to buy a new set of tires, it actually went up. This is the fourth and perhaps most devastatingly common trap of all, the minimum payment myth. Credit card companies are not just financial institutions. They are masters of behavioral psychology. They are geniuses at designing systems that prey on our natural desire for the path of least resistance. And the minimum payment is their Sistine Chapel. It is engineered with one single, brutally effective goal in mind: to keep you in debt for as long as humanly possible, maximizing the amount of interest they can extract from you. With average credit card interest rates in 2026 soaring at 20%, 24%, or even higher, the minimum payment is mathematically designed to be almost entirely consumed by interest charges. It's like trying to bail out a sinking boat with a teaspoon. You're making a motion. You feel like you're doing something productive, but the water level just keeps rising. Let's run the horrifying, soul-crushing numbers on Alex's $6,500 balance at 22.8% interest rate, which is a common rate for many cardholders. His minimum payment of $130 seems manageable, but in the very first month, the interest that accrues on his balance is roughly $123. That means only about $7 of his entire payment actually goes toward paying down the principal he owes. $7. The next month, it's almost the exact same story. The balance is negligibly smaller, so the interest is negligibly smaller, and he might pay off a few cents more to principal. It's a joke. If he only ever pays that minimum payment, it will take him over 30 years to pay off that debt. And over those 3 decades, he will have paid over $15,000 in interest on his original $6,500 of spending. He will end up paying for those old dinners, gadgets, and clothes almost 3 times over. It is a mathematical certainty for staying broke, a guaranteed sentence to a life of financial servitude. You cannot negotiate with this kind of math. You can't out-earn it. You must declare total war on high-interest debt. It is a financial emergency, a 5-alarm fire in your wallet. The 2 most effective strategies to extinguish this fire are the debt snowball and the debt avalanche. You must pick one and commit to it with fanatical intensity. The debt snowball. This method is all about psychological momentum. You list all your debts, credit cards, personal loans, everything except your mortgage, from the smallest balance to the largest. You continue to make minimum payments on everything, but you throw every single spare dollar you can find at that smallest debt. When it's paid off, you experience a huge motivating win. You've killed something. You then take the payment you were making on that debt and roll it up into the payment for the next smallest debt. The snowball gets bigger and bigger, and your motivation builds with each victory. The debt avalanche. This method is purely mathematical. You list your debts from the highest interest rate to the lowest, regardless of the balance. You make minimum payments on all of them, but you attack the one with the highest interest rate with every ounce of financial firepower you have. Once that debt is gone, you roll its payment into the debt with the next highest rate. Mathematically, this method will always save you the most money on interest over time. Choose the method that you are most likely to stick with. Then go to war. This is a season of sacrifice. You must cut your expenses to the bone. No more eating out. Cancel every subscription you don't absolutely need. Sell things you don't use on Facebook Marketplace. Pick up extra shifts at work. Start a side hustle. Throw every single spare dollar you generate at your debt until it is gone. There is no investment in the world that can offer you a guaranteed return like paying off debt. Paying off a credit card with a 25% interest rate is the exact same as getting a guaranteed 25% return on your money. Nothing else can promise you that. Eradicating high-interest debt is the single most powerful financial move you can make because it frees up your greatest wealth-building tool, your income. Habit 5, hoarding cash in a savings account, the parked cash illusion. Alex feels pretty good about one particular area of his finances. Through diligent saving, he's managed to stack up a respectable $20,000 in a high-yield savings account, HYSA. The interest rate is around 4.5%, which feels incredible compared to pathetic 0.1% his traditional big bank checking account offers. He sees that balance, and it feels like a fortress. His money is safe, it's secure, it's liquid, and he sees the interest payments hitting his account every month. He thinks of it as his investment, his big pile of smart money. This is a subtle and insidious trap, one that even the most financially responsible people fall for, because it feels so right. It feels like the definition of prudence. While a high-yield savings account is the absolute, unquestionable best place for your 3 to 6 month emergency fund, it is not an investment account. Confusing the two is a critical error that will guarantee you never build significant wealth. An emergency fund has one job and one job only: to provide security and liquidity. Its job is to be a buffer between you and disaster, to cover an unexpected job loss or medical emergency without forcing you into high-interest debt. The job of an emergency fund is defense, not offense. It's a financial firefighter waiting patiently in the station. It is not a wealth-building engine. In 2026, even with HYSAs offering what seem like solid rates of 4 to 5%, the math is secretly working against you. Let's break it down. With inflation projected to be around 2.5 to 3% for the year, your real return, the actual growth in your purchasing power, is only about 1.5 to 2%. But it gets worse. That interest you earned is considered taxable income. At the end of the year, your bank will send you a 1099 INT form, and you will have to pay federal and state income taxes on those earnings. Depending on your tax bracket, this could easily wipe out another 20 to 30% of your gains. When you factor in both inflation and taxes, your real take-home return on that safe cash is pushed even closer to zero, and in some cases, it can be negative. You are literally paying for the feeling of security. You're not losing money in a dramatic, catastrophic way, but you are not getting ahead. You are, at best, treading water. Your money is sitting in the parking lot with the engine idling, while the cost of everything else you want in life, housing, education for your kids, healthcare, and your own comfortable retirement, is speeding down the highway at 70 miles per hour. Every single dollar you have beyond your fully funded emergency fund that is sitting in cash is like a soldier left behind in the barracks, not fighting on the battlefield of wealth creation for you. Cash is a tool for short-term safety, but it is a terrible long-term strategy for growth. The key to escaping this illusion is to clearly define the job for every single dollar you own. Money needs marching orders. Emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of essential living expenses. Its job is safety, security, and immediate accessibility. Keep it in a liquid, FDIC-insured high-yield savings account. Do not touch it for anything other than a true, unforeseen emergency, job loss, major medical bill, critical home repair. A weekend sale on TVs is not an emergency. Every dollar beyond that, its job is to grow. And not just grow, but to grow at a rate that significantly outpaces inflation and taxes over the long term. This money needs to be invested. It needs to be put to work in assets that have a proven history of generating substantial real returns. For most people, the simplest, most effective, and most time-tested way to do this is through low-cost, broadly diversified index funds and ETFs. A fund that tracks the S&P 500, for example, gives you ownership in 500 of the largest companies in the U.S. and has a historical average annual return of around 10% over the long run. This is the engine of wealth creation. This is how your money makes money for you. The action plan is simple. First, calculate your 3 to 6 month emergency fund number and ensure that amount is safe in an HYSA. Then, take all the excess cash you've been hoarding and make a plan to invest it. You don't have to do it all at once. You can dollar cost average in, investing a set amount every month to reduce risk. Open a brokerage account or a Roth IRA. Set up an automatic transfer. Put your soldiers on the battlefield. Cash is for safety, but only investments build true, lasting wealth. Do not confuse the two. Habit 6, chasing the 3 C's: cars, clothes, and credit. We've already seen Alex get burned badly by the car and the credit cards. But those individual bad decisions are not isolated incidents. They are symptoms of a much bigger, more destructive underlying pattern. The habit of prioritizing the appearance of wealth over the grueling, unglamorous, and often invisible work of actually building wealth. This is the insidious trap of what I call the 3 C's: cars, clothes, and credit. It's the endless, exhausting, and soul-crushing chase for status symbols, funded by debt, that keeps people broke no matter how much money they make. It's the reason a person earning $50,000 a year and a person earning $250,000 a year can both find themselves living paycheck to paycheck, drowning in stress. We live in a world that is practically engineered to make us feel inadequate. Social media isn't just a tool to connect with friends. It's a nonstop 24/7 curated highlight reel of expensive vacations, luxury goods, perfect bodies, and seemingly flawless lives. This constant bombardment creates a deep-seated psychological pressure, a primal need to keep up, to signal to the world and to ourselves that we are also successful, that we also belong. This primal urge drives spending that completely undermines your financial foundation. It's buying the $800 phone you don't need, the $200 sneakers when your old ones are fine, the luxury apartment in the cool neighborhood that eats up 40% of your take-home pay. It's a relentless pursuit of external validation through consumption. This psychological pressure leads directly to one of the most powerful wealth-destroying forces there is: lifestyle inflation. This is a phenomenon where every single raise, every bonus, every bit of financial progress gets instantly and completely swallowed by a more expensive life. Your income goes up by $500 a month, and miraculously, so do your expenses. You upgrade your apartment. You start leasing a more expensive car. You eat at nicer restaurants. You buy more expensive clothes. You go from a $500 car payment to a $750 one. You go from a $1,500 apartment to a $2,200 one. Your income has grown, but your ability to build wealth hasn't changed at all. You're left in the exact same paycheck-to-paycheck cycle, just with nicer stuff and a whole lot more stress to maintain it. You're still on the treadmill. You've just turned up the speed and painted it gold. The solution to this trap is not financial. It's psychological. It requires a radical, countercultural mindset shift. You have to divorce your self-worth from your net worth and your net worth from your possessions. You must internalize this fundamental truth. Real wealth is quiet. It's silent. It's not the car you drive or the logo on your shirt. It's not the vacation you post on Instagram. Real wealth is the assets you own that are working for you while you sleep. It's the formidable balance in your retirement accounts. It's the freedom from worrying when the check engine light comes on. It's the profound peace of mind that comes from knowing you can handle a job loss. It's the power to walk away from a toxic job you hate. It's the ability to be generous. It is, in a word, freedom. Here are two practical, tactical ways to fight this deep-seated urge. First, before you buy any non-essential item over a certain threshold, say $100, you must enforce a mandatory 30-day cooling-off period. No exceptions. Don't just think about it. Write it down on a list. Want to buy new headphones? Put the date next to it. For the next 30 days, you're not allowed to buy it. You'll be absolutely shocked at how often the burning, all-consuming desire for that item just evaporates into thin air. Most of our impulsive wants are fleeting emotional reactions, not genuine needs. This simple delay allows your logical brain to catch up with your emotional brain. Second, and more profoundly, you must consciously and actively find your identity and your validation in things that have absolutely nothing to do with your possessions. Find it in your skills, in the pride of mastering craft. Find it in your creativity, in writing or painting or building something. Find it in the depth and quality of your relationships with family and friends. Find it in your physical health, your character, and your relentless progress toward your long-term goals. When your self-worth is built on a foundation of who you are and what you can do, you'll no longer feel the desperate need to buy things to prove you are somebody. You will already know. Habit 7. Not paying yourself first, living on leftovers. This brings us to the final, most foundational, and most important habit of all. It's the habit that underpins all the others. It's the end of the month, and Alex gets a flat tire. The repair is an unexpected $300. It's not a full-blown catastrophe, but as he looks at his bank account, a cold, familiar panic sets in. After all his bills are paid, there's not enough left to cover it. He has to put on a credit card, adding to the balance he's already struggling with. He takes a moment and feels a wave of despair. He makes a great income, so why is this happening? Why is he always one small, stupid emergency away from going into debt? He stops and thinks, really thinks, about where his money goes each month. He gets his paycheck. First, he pays his landlord for rent. Then he pays the auto finance company for his SUV. Then he pays the credit card companies their minimum payments. He pays the utility company, the internet provider, the cell phone company, and the grocery store. He pays everyone else first, and then he looks at what's left and hopes to save or invest whatever might be left over. The problem? There's never anything left. It's always just enough to get by or not quite enough. This is the ultimate trap. It is the default financial setting for 99% of the population, and it is the single biggest difference between a life of financial security and freedom and a life of constant financial struggle and stress. It's a simple, fundamental error in sequencing. Most people earn, then spend, then save what's left. The wealthy earn, then save, then spend what's left. The entire difference between broke and rich is in that one simple reordering. The solution is to fundamentally, violently, and permanently flip that script. You must pay yourself first. This is not a suggestion. It is not a helpful tip. It is a command for financial survival. Before you pay a single bill, before you buy groceries, before you even think about your rent or your mortgage, you automate a transfer from your checking account straight to your investment and savings accounts. This is not a leftover amount. This is a primary expense. You must treat your savings and investment contributions as the single most important bill you have, because it is the bill for your future. It's the payment you make to your 65-year-old self, who will thank you for it. The target for this pay yourself first bill should be 15 to 20% of your gross pre-tax income minimum. Yes, that number sounds huge. It might sound completely impossible right now, but the key is to make it automatic and to start where you are. Make it a non-negotiable, automated transfer that happens the day your paycheck hits your account. You want the money to disappear from your checking account before you even have a chance to see it, feel it, or think about how you could spend it. Automation is the cure for a lack of willpower. Then, and only then, you learn to live and cover all your other expenses on what's left over. This is a concept called forcing scarcity, and it is incredibly powerful. When your checking account has less money in it, it forces discipline and creativity. You become more mindful of your spending because you have to. You might not be able to start at 15%. That's okay. Start with 1%. Literally 1% of your income. Automate it today. It might only be $40. Do it anyway. Get the system built. The next month, see if you can bump it to 2%, then 3%. Every time you get a raise, automate half of that raise to go directly to your investments before you ever see it in your checking account. This one habit, paying yourself first through automation, is more powerful than any other. It guarantees that you are building your future self a better life every single month, without fail, without requiring constant discipline or motivation. It builds your wealth on autopilot. Conclusion: Alex's story is a warning, but it absolutely does not have to be your story. These 7 habits, financing rapidly depreciating assets like new cars, falling for long-term interest traps like 40-year mortgages, treating your own hard-earned money like a lottery bonus, making minimum payments on a high-interest death spiral, hoarding cash and letting inflation eat it alive, chasing status symbols, and living on financial leftovers are all choices. They are the wide, well-paved, socially accepted roads that look normal but lead directly to a life of quiet desperation and financial stress. The way out is to choose a different path. It's a quieter, less traveled road, but it leads to a place called freedom. It starts today. It starts with a decision to aggressively pay down your debt, to create a budget that serves your future self, and to automate your investments so your wealth builds without your constant effort. It's about choosing to pay yourself first. Always. Alex eventually woke up. He sold the expensive SUV even at a loss, bought a reliable used car with cash, aggressively paid off his credit cards using the avalanche method, and automated 15% of his income into his investment accounts. A year later, his life didn't look as flashy on the outside, but for the first time, he felt a deep sense of peace and control. He was no longer a slave to his payments. His net worth was finally, consistently, climbing. His journey to wealth wasn't about finding a bigger shovel to earn more money. It was about learning how to dig his way out of holes he'd put himself in. You have that same power right now. If this video opened your eyes to a habit in your own life, I want you to make a commitment right now. Tell us in the comments what one change you're committed to making this week. Declaring it publicly makes it real. And if you got value from this breakdown, please like the video and subscribe for more content to help you build true, lasting financial freedom.